Today's side-scrolling superhero segment takes us back to 1991. It's a Game Boy game called Dick Tracy, and I know a lot of you are going, what? Who? How is he a superhero? He's not quite a superhero. He's kind of like a super heroic take on the G-men that were chasing the mobsters back, I guess, in the 30s and 40s. It was a comic strip for a long time. I'm sure there were comic books about Dick Tracy, which I never read. And then there was the Warren Beatty movie that came out in the 90s, and this game came out in 1991. It was tied to that film, which starred Warren Beatty, and Al Pacino and Madonna is in it, and it wasn't that great of a movie, but it had a pretty cool look to it. The whole aesthetic of Dick Tracy in the movie, for sure, and I guess across the comics, is that everything is, super flamboyant and big and larger than life, and a little accentuated and crazy. The makeup on Al Pacino is nuts. It's just the fact that Al Pacino played a mobster in sort of a comic strip movie like this is just so surreal. And Warren Beatty actually made it an okay Dick Tracy. He had to wear the yellow hat and the yellow trench coat, filled with color and stuff. Of course, this Game Boy game not filled with color, and I played it in the with the movie theater frame on my Super Game Boy in black and white, which was my preferred thing. And the thing I noticed this time when I was playing it, I had it on pause for a second, and one of the little dudes that's in the audience actually fell asleep. There was little Z's coming off of him. I thought that was pretty cute. This game is pretty routine. It's a side-scrolling game where you can pick up weaponry and shoot at the bad guys. All of these different, mob goons come popping out, and some of them have guns, and some of them have Tommy guns. Some of them are going to throw knives at you. You get this really annoying guy, this bald guy with a little mustache who comes and he's like a close talker. He just wants to get really right up in your face, and he can punch you, but your fists will go through him unless you're perfectly positioned on frame. And so fighting with your fists became insufferably difficult and frustrating, and I just tried to avoid gunfire and people that wanted to fight with me. And every once in a while I would throw a punch, but it was much more effective to pick up a Tommy gun or pick up a handgun and blast your enemies away. I also thought that there was a very interesting choice in having a bad guy that would pop up every once in a while that would hurl tires at you. It's like he's pulling a tire out of his jacket and just throwing a tire at you, and it would roll across the screen in a specific pattern so you could jump over him or duck under him depending on where you were. And it would roll across, and he was a pain in the ass, but it was funny. I started to question, like, what a weird existence, man, to be the tire guy in a video game like this. Tire hurling bad guy. And I'm not surprised we didn't see this guy represented on screen. Anyways, we cruise through a bunch of very familiar tropes in action-adventure games like this. You've got city streets, you've got a harbor, you've got, it looks like an engineering kind of space. You're in a warehouse. You're in a bar for a little bit, and you can jump on some of the obstacles, although it's sometimes a little difficult to make out exactly what you can jump onto. I did like that you could leap off of a ledge and grab onto a ladder relatively fluidly. And you need to do that because sometimes you're going to be in projectile hell where everybody around you is weaponized, firing at you or throwing knives at you, and you've just got to try to, avoid everybody long enough so your health doesn't tick away and you're dead and you got to start over. One thing I also liked is that you don't go right back to the beginning every time you die unless you lose all of your lives, and then you got to continue from the start of the act. And the game is broken up across 5 different acts with a bunch of little chapters in them, and then of course you fight all of these bosses like Shoulders and Prune Face and Flat Top. Great names, right? And Al Pacino's character was Big Boy. And what you do after you complete an act, the whole time that you've been playing through these stages and levels, is you've been collecting pieces of a picture. And then you've got this sort of puzzle-solving mechanic at the end of the stage where it gives you an opportunity to put the picture together properly, and then you get bonuses based on that. And so you do have to make an effort to go and find all of those torn pieces of the picture. Thought that was pretty cool. I like the idea and I like the concept. I like the reward in general of having this little weird black and white Game Boy pixel portrait of Dick Tracy elements in there. The game isn't terrible. It's certainly not great, but I think it does a pretty good job at honoring the license of Dick Tracy and some of the ideas of Dick Tracy. I've always liked the concept of it, I think, because I'm such a fan of that era, and Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite film of all time, and I've always dug being able to examine and explore the 30s and 40s kind of culture. I like old classic mob movies like The Untouchables. And so I think it would be fun to kind of revisit Dick Tracy. And we never talk about Dick Tracy anymore, so maybe now is an all right time to kind of go back into that kind of world. And he was cool. He had a watch that you could talk into and stuff like that. And the watch actually you use to input the codes that you earn at the end of every level, which I think is pretty sweet. It's definitely got some frustration around the collision detection. I found that there were definitely cheap deaths. And a little bit of, gritting your teeth to get through it. And there's also recycling of levels and artwork and stuff. But I had a smile on my face for chunks of this for sure. The music sucks though. Really disappointed with the music. I beat it, so I'll never play it again, but I didn't hate my time with Dick Tracy on the Game Boy. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10.